Just because I'm talking about meaty clips doesn't mean anything.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Buffalo. I'm doing a different video here. I'm
It's
here
your boy
with
Eat That Pussy 445.
I'm here with Eat That Pussy 445 and Nightmare. And we're just gonna be talking about ghost stories. I don't know who's going first, so whoever wants to go first, go.
Ghost Stories is an amazing anime that you should all watch because it is hilarious as shit. Oh, wait, not that. Ghost Stories? Alright.
Okay, who's going first? I'll go whenever.
Robert. Robert!
Why do I have to go first?
Because yours is the most lame.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, you're actually kind of right, but okay. There really was only like 3 instances that I encountered paranormal. One was just a spirit knocking down some books like an asshole. The next one was it slowly opening my door and scaring the shit out of me and causing me to grab my Minecraft sword. And then the third, no joke. But then the third, almost killed me. Like I was actually touched by a spirit, and not in the way I would enjoy. Fucking pig. Okay, so that whole thing goes. I was extremely tired after a long summer night of gaming and whatnot, and it was about 10 in the morning, and I finally decided to hop in bed. I'm sitting there, I'm comfortable, I got my blanket, I got my music, and then yes, we need to talk in bed. And then I felt something like aggressively poking me in the back of the neck. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I look up and there's nobody there. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I turn my music off so I can actually get to sleep. And I just hear heavy breathing. Just like...
Other than his own.
And no. Yes, other than my own. Which creeped me the fuck out. And that's all I really had with the paranormal. I legit told it to fuck off and it has not come back since.
It might have
And
been
it
a
went
trickster,
straight to
honestly.
Austin's house.
What?
Our friend Austin, yeah, he had extreme ghost problems.
Oh shit. Let's talk about him. Let's get him in a video sometime to tell his, but Dororo, you're next.
He's in boot camp.
Oh shit.
I've
Dororo.
actually had like 19, so I'm only gonna go into a few of them.
Okay.
And yeah, my sister has had like 32, and my mom has had the most at around 98.
Oh boy. Talk about yours only.
Alright.
Or
Well,
their
actually,
point of views.
I do have to go into 2 of these. My mom has gotten thrown across the room before. My sister has had a Bible thrown at her.
Yo motherfuckers need Jesus.
And then, I remember my sister was at, this one person's house, and she looked into the backyard, and there was this little girl trying to tell her to play with her. And then, like, she turned into, like, this demon with red eyes and started chasing her and my mom, and so they got into the car like, really fast.
Jeez.
And then, like, they were driving over the bridge, and my mom couldn't stop looking over the bridge, and my sister had to snatch the wheel and, take control of the car. Because, for whatever reason, the, demon was making my mom look over across the bridge, trying to kill them.
Yeah. Alright.
But anyways, on to my own. Okay, so in my old house, we had a bunch of ghosts there. Like a shit ton. In fact, I still have nightmares about that house. And me and my sister have had a recurring dream about that house where, there were like these farmers in this field, and this farmer was like a rapist. Like a child rapist, who was taking kids, raping them, and then murdering them and skinning them alive.
Any real story to that, or just dreams?
Probably. I'm pretty sure he lived there once. It's just we we don't know all the previous owners other than other than the person that we bought it from. But anyways, I remember like okay, so in that house we had fuck me, we had a garage, and it had like a mini hallway leading to the kitchen. My my room was like in the back of the house, and there was this window where you could see into the hallway into the garage. And we had chickens at one point, and so we had a red light for the chickens. And you know, one day that red light, I mean one night, this was back when I was like 6, and me and my mom were still sleeping in the bed together. And I remember, like, my mom was asleep, and the red light grew brighter. And yeah, I don't even think that this house was haunted. I think it was possessed, because that light grew brighter, and there was a pentagram on the side of the wall.
Oh shit.
And
Should have called Doom Guy.
and then I remember I was trying to lie down to go to sleep, just try to ignore it, and then like all of a sudden I heard all these children's voices saying like, "Help me, please God, let me be freed from this nightmare."
Yes.
I also remember there was also a fucking portion of my closet, and we rescued animals, right? So, you know, we would take in stray animals, shear them, and let them live with us for the rest of their lives, right?
Mm.
And no matter what went into that portion of the house, it would die. Like, no matter what it was. Dog, cat, lizard, whatever, it would die. But yeah, that's a majority of the things.
What's your best one? Just the pentagram on the wall?
I mean, I don't really know.
Oh.
But in this house, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, not pretty sure. There is a spirit in this house, but for whatever reason, it likes me. It doesn't mind me. It just minds my family, which is kind of fucked up. But you know, whatever.
Yeah. All right. So.
Like, yeah.
Go ahead. No, finish your story.
Yeah, I remember one day my back was like really fucking hurting, but I still had to feed my cats, so I usually leave my cup just like on the ground, right? To feed my cats. And then just this one day, I went into my room. I walked out of the room. The cup was on the ground next to the door, so I was like, I'll just walk back in and then I'll get the cup. And then like I came back in and it was on my entertainment center, which is at an elevated place.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Stupid pigs!
Hey, that's the way to talk about police.
Hey.
Yeah.
Not that.
Okay. That's creepy as fuck. There's a dude over there and he doesn't have a weapon either. Yeah, you better jump off.
Go on with yours.
Hey, hey, hey! I jumped for you. Fuck, the bridge has nothing.
Are you gonna do your stories or not?
Alright. So, I'm gonna go through the first one I can remember. Basically, some backstory is that my grandmother had twins that passed away within a couple of days. Way before I was born. That was like 20 years before I was born. Well, anyways, my mom got West Nile virus, and I was staying with my my grandparents, and I slept in the bed with them because I was only 5 years old, and I was scared. Anyways, it started off like I would look up and there were two white lights, and I didn't know about the twins. Just so you know, I didn't get the concept of death. It started off with white lights, and then they slowly merged into white face form, like forms of a face. And then lastly, they turned into, like, after some time, the faces turned. This was every night, just so you know. This was like for my mom was in a coma, I think, for 3 weeks. And then 3 weeks later is when she got out of the hospital. So this was like 6 weeks worth of nights. And the faces started talking to me. And there was two, and I was so young that I thought it was normal. And I told my mom
Just
about
like,
this.
hey, what's up?
Yeah, just like I only told my mom about this a couple
Hey, what's up,
months
Creepy
ago.
Faces? How you doing?
Like, I knew about the twins, but I only told my mom this about a couple months ago. And anyways, the faces would start talking to me saying, your mom's gonna be okay, we're protecting her. And that was my first thing. And the time that she woke up was like at 4 o'clock in the morning when she got out of the coma. The faces were in my, I woke up and I was speaking to them, they go, your mom's about to wake up, you need to go to bed and get some rest. And then I got woken up an hour later saying, hey, your mom's up, we gotta go to the hospital. And that was creepy. Now the second one I've had is with my grandpa.
I can tell you what, that wasn't really that wasn't fucking, like,
It was paranormal.
demon or anything like
No,
that.
it was, I knew what it was. It was the twins. It was the spirit of the twins.
Twins, but it wasn't just the spirit. It was
an angel.
Yeah, it was the angels.
Yeah, I know. I don't believe that angels really, like, I don't believe that they were angels. I just think that they were just there. But anyways, the second one I've had relates to a video game. Now, my grandfather passed away, and he used to get on this house in Pac-Man World 2 in the city. Nobody else could get onto it except for him. And I was playing, and I was a couple of houses ahead and whatnot, like a couple missions away or levels. And what happened was I was out there. My mom asked me for something. I came back 30 seconds later, and the game was unpaused on the roof in the first place, where he can only get on that roof. And I was like, wow, that's Grandpa. I could just feel it was him, so I was like, that was kind of funny. The third one I've had is this is some backstory. I was born March 25th, 1997. My grandmother passed away March 24th, 2004 in New York. It's very important. She used to live with me a little bit in Florida, and then she said, she basically told my mom, I want to die in New York. So my mom took her back and let her go move back into New York for like a week or two, and then she passed away. Anyways. Sorry. Okay. What happened was after that is that on my birthday, that night, because she passed away the 24th night leading into the 25th, and I saw her on my birthday walk by my door, and the next day I was like, oh, Grandma's back, because she lived with us for just a couple months before she passed away, basically. And my mom's like, no, she's back in New York, honey. And then later that day she found out that she passed away the day before, during the time that I saw her walk by my door. And I wasn't scared. It was literally just like, oh, Grandma's getting a glass of water. That's what I thought in my mind. But anyways, these are the good ones. I have no other good ones. The rest of them, oh no, I saw my Aunt Doris at her funeral, but so did my brother. We just kind of saw her standing in a window. That's nothing big. But anyways, the rest of them, I have 3 stories that are all interconnected, I believe, very well. I had an ex, and we were at prom, and we were driving home from prom right by the high school that she graduated from. Anyways, there's 3 perspectives in this. I'm going to talk about the dude in the back who didn't see anything, and then I'm going to talk about the other people, or that my point of view, my ex's point of view. We're driving right by this place called the Go Line in it's really big nearby. It's like free buses and stuff, and there was a Go Line stop there, and they keep light posts right below it all the time. But anyways, it was one of those light posts, and he's in the back, or I'll tell my point of view. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I'm on Spotify. I'm looking for a song because we're listening to music. And out of the radio, we hear a scream, right? Like a full-blown, deathly, like demonic scream. And I saw at the corner of my eye on the right, because it was on the passenger door, but I was on the phone. I didn't really look out. I saw this like tall black thing by the light post. I just thought it was a shadow. The dude behind me, who was in the back seat, let's call him Solomon Grundy. All he heard was the scream, because he was talking to us. But anyways, my ex is the one who saw everything. What she said was that as soon as she saw the scream, she was looking to her right out the window, and there was this tall black figure in tattered clothing that had a drawn out face, and it was screaming at us, but it came out the radio. There was no sound outside the car. It came out the radio. And now that is I didn't go in chronological order. The first, that was scary, obviously, everything. But that's not the first one that I've had. They're all connected, I believe. These next couple lines. Now, the first one was me, her, this guy I really didn't like. He made fun of a friend of mine who committed suicide, so he's a piece of shit to begin with. Anyways, we went to this abandoned house. I knew I was dead. I went into this abandoned house with him, and there were Ouija boards on the ground, right? It was right by a cemetery, too. Well, his dumbass thought it was fun to grab the Ouija boards and throw them around. And break them and throw them outside. Well,
No.
I believe that I'm an empath as well, which means I can feel people's pain and stuff. Like when my mom's back is really bad, I can feel the pain of that. But anyways, I start getting all these emotions of hatred and pain towards him, like I wanted to kill him. I blacked out for a minute. My girlfriend said I looked at him with anger, and he said something to me. I didn't respond. I just kind of looked at him like I was about to kill him, my ex. But anyways, we were walking out of the house, and I got pushed out of the house. Now, there were no steps leading outside. Like, the people took out the steps so people wouldn't explore the house and stuff, right? And, anyways, I got pushed. I got back up. I was fine. There was a handprint on my shoulder, which wasn't really a big thing compared to what happened next. We went to the cemetery because one of the girls that was with us, her aunt was buried there. So, we're eating pizza in the cemetery because we got pizza beforehand, yada yada yada. And we're sitting there, and I just have this anger towards him. I want to kill him. I want him dead. I didn't like him beforehand because he's a piece of shit, but I wanted him dead. Like, I kept thinking in my head, I kept seeing flashes of him getting murdered right here, me smashing his head in with a headstone, basically. And I'm not a violent person. I don't have violent thoughts at all. And I knew they were my own, so I was able to kind of keep control of it. But anyways, we got into the car, and I was holding my ex's hand, and we started up the car, and clear as day, I hear in my ears, "Throw him out the car when you're going fast." And my ex heard it too. Because she was holding my hand, we believe. Because she was connected at that moment with me. She could feel and see what I saw. Anyways, that voice was the same type of voice that was in that scream that we saw outside the goal line, right? Now, I've seen the figure again. Now, she lived about 2.5 hours away from me. I've seen it again 5 minutes away from my house with her. We were literally just riding home from a movie, and there was this, it was kind of like tormenting too, because there's this house on a road that my ex loved. She wanted to move into it, all this and that basically. And what happened was we were driving right by that house, and it was for sale for a while, but right outside the house I saw the figure again, and the light bulb in front of the house shattered. Like, it went dark. Like, she saw the pop, I saw the figure and everything. And that's 5 minutes away from my house. Don't worry, it hasn't followed me or anything. But anyways, it hasn't followed me or anything. Now, I have a friend that's a psychic, or Wicca, and she said that it was after her, not me. So, I didn't tell her any of this. She told me, she came to me saying, you're worried this figure's gonna follow you, but it's not following you, it's following her. But anyways, I hope she gets haunted. I don't care about her anymore. Anyways, the figure that I saw, it was 5 minutes away from my house then and stuff. And I don't feel it. And then there's one more, which was right across the street from me. The house was abandoned for a couple years, and I used to walk by for school every morning. And one of the days, I first thought they were lights. Like, there were squatters in the house, and there were candles you could see through the doors, right?
No,
And
fuck.
Then one day I'm walking by, and they were candles, and there's like figures dancing around the candles. There's about 5 of them in a circle, pentagram. Right. Well, one of those days, I decided to go ahead and investigate. I was looking in through the window, and I got shoved to a side, because you know how the door is like a square, there's 2 walls, and then there's the door. I got shoved into one of the sides, and then I ran to the bus stop, and I never touched it again. I never went there again. And then when the people moved in, they were outside the house like every morning, almost. Like they had the experience too. And then it went away after a couple months, I guess, when they called not psychic or an exorcist or whatever. But that's basically it. But being possessed wasn't scary because I kind of knew what was going on and I knew how to handle it. I wasn't possessed, I was influenced basically. And the scariest one was seeing it the same figure from the year before at prom, 5 minutes away from my house. That was the scariest one, because I thought it was following me, and the next thing you know, it's gonna be here. You know what I mean? That's about it. Does anybody else want to add anything? Okay. I'm gonna end the video here, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a
spooky.
Yes, you guys have a great day. And maybe we'll do a second video of this, because I have a couple more, but they're not really mine. They're from people around me.
I think the next one should be more upbeat and have it be funny stories.
Alright.